Hello, beautiful souls. It's your girl, Dara, with Cups and Conversations, coming to you with episode 3. Episode 3. If you ain't hype, I'm definitely hype. I brought 2 more hype queens with me tonight. They are amazing personalities. So tonight we will be talking about faux tales with introverts and extroverts. See, the world tells us that introverts are quiet and, it gives you the feeling that they may be able to be pushed over. Or extroverts are always loud and extra, so they have a whole lot of friends. Whatever you think you know about an introvert or an extrovert, I've brought a true introvert and a true extrovert to go ahead and clear up these faux tales. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, bang that bell so you don't miss any content. Welcome to Cups and Conversations. Tonight, let me introduce our first guest. Our first guest is Christina. Now, she is a diva that I dance with, and she is phenomenal. From the time that I met her, her personality was popping. So, Christina, introduce yourself and tell us what's in your cup.
Hey, Dara. Hey, Queens. I am Christina Sylvia. I am first a mom. I'm a dance girly. That's how I met Dara. So I've been part of this dance community, which kind of goes right along with my extrovert personality, I guess you'll find out. But I'm a software trainer. I've done youth development, everything, and all my jobs, professional career is kind of right on par with the community kind of social aspect, very much my personality. So I'm excited to be here to talk about it, and I brought a little something in my cup. So the first thing that my cup actually says is enjoy every moment, and I felt like I wanted to put it in this cup because what I actually wrote is just that with a little twang. So what I put inside the cup says, live your life fully while remembering you're living it with others. And I think that sometimes we think that, with extroverts, we want to be the center of attention, but I think it's very much about understanding that we're a part of like a bigger community. And as much as we may be the center of attention or get or command attention, we always understand that it's kind of about the collective us. And so as much as I live my life fully and I live it for me, I always remember that it's not just about me. And I'm a small pea in this big pod, and it's about the impact that I make. So be excited to kind of talk about that today.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Christina, for joining us tonight. Thank you, because that does matter in regards to being aware of the people around you and understanding what other people need, that it's not always just about us. So next, we have Jaleisha. Jaleisha, join us. Introduce yourself and tell us what's in your cup.
Hi, I'm Jaleisha, and welcome everybody. I'm a mom for one. I'm also the executive assistant for Wombs and Building Better Brothers. So look out for that. I'm also in the process of getting my son's business, so look out for that as well. I'm an introvert, so I'm quiet sometimes, but when you do get to know me, I come out of my shell, and maybe then I'll be something else. I have a queen's cup. As you see, it's empty. I am the queen of my castle here. But I pour nothing but love to everybody. And as long as everybody pour love back to me, we're good.
I love that, Jaleisha. Thank you so much, as you are a queen and you should always represent yourself in that fashion and in that form. I love it. Thank you, queens, for joining us today. Let's get to it. All right, ladies, we in full form, and we are ready to clear up these faux tales and what the world believes they know about an introvert and an extrovert. So, first things first, Jaleisha and Christina, have you ever felt like you were misunderstood being an introvert or an extrovert? You know, people may think what they think as far as, oh, an introvert's a pushover or extrovert's always extra. But are those things true? Jaleisha, you want to speak on, have you ever been misunderstood?
I'm always misunderstood. People believe that I'm weird because I just sit back and just observe everybody else before I start speaking out. I'm just quiet. I just like to sit back and watch how everybody else reacts so I could just join in.
Definitely understood. What about you, Christina? Have you ever been misunderstood being an extrovert?
It's actually kind of funny because I think that most people kind of get it right. Like most people, if they tell you about me, it's typically the good and the bad is pretty spot on. And I think that's usually because I kind of like I am what I am. You get what you see. But I think that the like tail of that is that people think that that's it. Like that what they see is the total of you, which is like the misconception. Like what you see is what I'm giving you, but there's so much more until you get close enough to be close enough to know, you know?
I love it. Close enough to be close enough. I know that's right. So it's like you only give them what they need to know. We give you the energy or the vibes that we feel like you need to have. So do you ever give all of you, or is it always just in portions?
I think very few people get all of me.
Okay, yeah. I love it. What about you, Jaleisha?
Same way. Only a few people get all of me.
Understood. So
I think, Dara, that a lot of people would probably think that they get all of me. Right? Like until they realize that, like, wait, what where'd that other person get all of that from? Where'd that come
from? So are we tricking people, or we're just being selective?
I just think it's because like that big personality, people feel so connected. So they feel like, you know what I mean? They know everything because they know a lot because you share. But not realizing like that's just a layer. Even if that's 5, 6, 7 layers, like we're still 20 layers deep, you know?
I know it's right. So when we talk about these layers, Jaleisha, talk to us about the layers of an introvert.
Basically, I just be careful. I don't like everybody all up in my business. I tell people what I want them to know. I feel like once people get all up in your business, they think they know you, but really deep inside they don't. So I just be careful, and that's why I just sit back and view everything before I let somebody into that next level of me.
Got you. So, Christina, when it comes to people that are your true friends, because I know a lot of times people think that extroverts have a lot of friends because, you know, again, we're out there, we're friendly. So they think that we have a lot of friends. And what I'm learning is that's not really the case. Like you just said, we don't let a lot of people in our inner circle. That is kind of a safe space, our peace, our safe haven. So with that being said, what can you explain to people the difference, not only besides what you give people, but how do you determine who gets to come in that inner circle and that safe space?
No, so that's a really good question. I feel like there's a lot of layers to that. Like a lot of the times it's a vibe, it's a connection. Sometimes it's situational, right? Like I'm in college, and so then I have college friends that I'm meeting or you connect with, and you know, you kind of carry those relationships. You meet new people like dance, you know what I mean? And you kind of go in spaces where you see these people. And I feel like I enter situations and I feel like who I'm around is who I'm supposed to be around, who I was supposed to meet in those moments. And I go into those moments pure until someone gives me a reason to feel like I need to pull back. So I'm less cautious about letting people in. Like, I feel like I have a pretty high threshold of like, I feel like I'm a decent enough person that I can, give you 80% of me and hope that like, I get a good, decent human back. And I just feel like as long as I, give that, like, I'm going to kind of get that good karma. So I kind of go into it not being reserved, not being, you know, kind of held back until someone gives me a reason. So I think that that's why people just think like, oh, I'm friends with everybody or have a bunch of friends, because I kind of do, but they're like situational or environmental, like social circles, you know. It's kind of people that have become just part of my network that I may not talk to every day, but, you know, if I go home, I hang out with you, or if I see something and, you know, we're checking in on each other, I would still consider them, you know, a friend. It's just this kind of levels to that.
I love it. People at home, do you love it so far? If you do, thumbs up, subscribe, bang that bell. We got some amazing personalities here tonight sharing their journey and their experiences with you. So now's the time for Let's Talk About It. It's game time. Get your paddles ready. So it is game time. Are y'all ready? You got your paddles ready? Okay, so I'm going to throw some words out here and you let me know if we are good or if we are bad. If we rocking with it or if we ain't rocking with it. So I'm about to throw some words out here. I like to be in rooms full of people. Thumbs up, thumbs down. If I could take a vacation, I would rather take a vacation somewhere quiet with just a couple people I like, or I would like to be on a cruise. Would you like to be on a cruise? Thumbs up. Okay. Or would you rather be with a couple of people that you like? Thumbs up.
I can still be with a couple people I like.
Okay, so here's the dilemma, because Christina, you have a thumbs up too. So when it comes to your personal time, you prefer to be with just a few people that you like?
Yeah, when we're talking about vacation, I don't want to take on too many people's energies and I don't want too much risk. I just want a good time, and I know that I can control that good time with a controlled group.
Gosh, you love it. Okay, and Jaleisha, you put thumbs up also on the cruise, more so than being by yourself, or did I get that confused? You were preferring...
Well, I thought it was more being with somebody, with your own group of people on the cruise. I ain't got to interact with everybody else on their cruise. So
okay, so
interact with my own people.
Okay, so an introvert does not mind being around groups of people, because even if you're around groups of people, you still feel like you can isolate yourself. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
So do you feel like there's times that you're in groups of people that you want to isolate yourself? What causes you to want to isolate yourself when you're around a lot of people?
I don't know. I just go off people's energy sometimes. I got to figure you out first.
So when you say you have to figure us out first, as far as other people, you're just sitting back, like watching and observing the room?
I got to get your energy. I got to feel if you are authentic to yourself and to others as well. If you one of those fake people, some type of conniving person, I gotta back away from you. I gotta see if you tell lies, if you tell the truth. I don't like no liars. I need you to be honest with yourself and
Understood.
others.
Understood. Okay, let's talk about the workplace for an introvert and an extrovert. So when you are given a task, a new task that I need you to work on, is that easy for you to accept with few details? Yes or no? Okay. So, Christina, it's easy for you to accept a task at work with few details. Tell us more. Why is that?
I'm very like read between the lines. Like I don't really need to be told much. Just tell me what you need me to do, and I'm just gonna figure it out. I don't really like, you know, or need to ask too many questions. And I think that's just like, I don't know if that just comes with like just having that ambition to want to figure it out. I feel like if I do something on my own, you never have to ask me again, you know, or I never have to ask you again. I can, you know, kind of just do it. So I always try to figure it out first before I need or want any details.
Got you. And Jaleisha, you put thumbs down. So you don't like last minute, you know, you don't like people to give you some last minute with few details. Tell us why. What's going on there?
I need to be able to concentrate. Sometimes I get sidetracked. I am a mom, but I don't like doing things last minute. I'd rather go ahead and get it out the way and be done with it.
Understood. Okay, ladies. All right. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes. With the world, what would you tell the world when it comes to how can the world support you as an introvert or an extrovert? The life that we have lived, of course, like we said, sometimes we can be misunderstood. Sometimes people think one way about us. They think that we're excited and happy all the time, like we don't have things going on in our life that causes us not to have our happy face on, not to be the center of attention, not to be the, hey, it's party time. Just because you're an extrovert doesn't mean you wake up like that every day. And introverts, as Jaleisha has explained, sometimes they don't mind being around people. They don't mind being loud and fun when they have gotten to know the room. So how can the world support you as an introvert, Jaleisha?
Be patient with us. The only thing we want is to be patient. Just slow it down a little bit for us because we're not all, hey, like y'all will be. We're more just calm and relaxed. We just like to just get the feel of the room. Just be patient.
So with the introverts, they are just asking the world to be patient. World, are you hearing this? Do you think you can do that? Just grant them a little more patience. Extrovert, Christina, how can the world support you as an extrovert?
I'm sitting here thinking about that question. How do I feel like the world can support me as an extrovert? I think really what comes to mind is just not relying on our connection being what you may see in social spaces. I feel like a lot of the times people can feel like they know you because of how you are socially, what you may share on social media, but realizing and not relying just on that there's connections that are needed that are deeper than that. Sometimes people take for granted because they know something, but they're not really in the know. And with extroverts, sometimes it's that we do have, bigger connections and networks of people. And so if our core of people were typically the ones that, we're kind of talking to or we're going to, there's people that are also important in some of our extended networks that may miss out on some of those connections. And then it's just like this revolving door of like being taken, for granted because you think you're connecting when you're really not. So I would just say not relying on, kind of the extrovertedness of us, like, and really focusing on that, like one-on-one, that deeper connection, because it's not always just about, big spaces and groups, and, we don't always need to be out and doing like, invite us over to like hang out on the couch and watch movies too.
I love that because yes, I definitely love a good time, but I do like my quiet time, just hanging with my inner circle, because a lot of times extroverts do a lot of the mending, bringing people together, and that can be tiring sometimes. Sometimes it can be tiring being the go-to person, and you do need your inner circle to be the one you can go to when you need a break, right? Right? So I appreciate you ladies for explaining some of these things. Now, Christina, you did mention social media. So let's talk about social media and how that can affect us as introverts and extroverts, because times are not the way they were when we were younger. How personal are you as an introvert on social media?
I don't put anything out that's personal to me. I just put out anything that's trending. Basically, I repost other people's business and just whatever else, memes and things like that. I don't get too personal on social media.
Tell us the reason from your perspective of why you don't.
It's social media. I don't want people all up in my business like that.
Understood.
I don't want people to understand me.
Okay, there it is.
I'm done.
Yeah, there it is.
Done just so we can enjoy one another, but not to really understand me like that. If you really want to understand me, you can understand me outside of social media. But other than that, social media for the whole world no, I can't do that.
Okay, so let's jump into what you just said in regards to people understanding you. Why don't you want people understanding you? Is that a control mechanism? Is that a guard that you put up?
It's a guard that I put up. Just like me doing this now, it makes me nervous because I know the whole world's going to see. So therefore, I am nervous doing this. But I do this because I love you and I support this whole thing. But yeah, I don't want people to really understand me or get to know me. If you want to get to know me, you can get to know me face to face and not through internet.
What I was looking for. I'm looking for the juice. I want to know why we do what we do, why we say what we say, why we put the walls up. Okay, so Christina, explain to us about understanding you. I know we all have walls in certain areas of our life, depending on where we come from, things that we have had happen in our lives. But explain to us about social media for extrovert. How do you feel about sharing your life and different things that you're doing and the highlights? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very open on social media. I share a lot. I would consider myself at this point a content creator. I have a pretty, decent following. I feel like social media is an extension of me. And if I'm staying, authentic to my true self, this is really how I am. And this is how I would be in spaces and how I would connect with these people if I'm, in person with them. So I don't have a problem sharing that. I think that conscious of what I share. I think it is limits to how personal you are or, in the moment or live, you are, just because you put yourself at risk when you're, kind of opening those doors to just random people. But I think that, I like deal with different social medias different ways as well. And I think that that's kind of like the extrovert of like in me, where it's like, I know that I'm part of this larger community, but I also know how to deal in like little spaces. I use Facebook primarily for family interactions and connecting with family back home and making them feel connected, like they know, what's going on in my life, my child's life, and things like that. And I see the benefits of that, the impact of that, and the legacy that we're creating by doing that. And I think that that's really what's most important. And social media has been an outlet for me to do that on a larger scale and connect with, more people that I would have lost those connections had I not been able to kind of share those moments on social media, especially people from back home, college friends, and things like that. So I enjoy sharing my life. I think that there's this element of like accepting that and doing that. I'm also inviting random energy and like random people I don't know. But again, I think that that's until I have a reason to feel or be afraid of that type of energy, then I'm okay. I don't want to limit myself out of the fear that, other people may connect with me or that I may connect a larger, group than what I intended.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's go to the trust factor, being an introvert and an extrovert. Let's talk about the trust factor. Do you feel like people automatically get your trust until they break it, then they no longer have it? Or do you feel like you don't have my trust, you have to earn it from jump? Jaleisha, do you give people your trust in the beginning, or do you make them earn it before you trust a person from an introvert's perspective? Tell us.
I feel like you have to earn the trust. I don't know people very well, so I can't speak on if I can trust you or not, just like I don't know if I can believe you or not.
Okay, Christina, do people get your trust and then they lose it, or do they have to earn it from jump? Talk to us about trust, Christina.
Yeah, I think it's probably that I give people trust until they lose it. Like, I typically go into situations being very optimistic that if I show up as my best self, I'm going to get the best out of that person. And when I'm not, it's going to be very evident, and then I'm going to remove myself from that. So I think that I go into it with a very trusting mentality, but I think it's conditional. I think that, depending on the type of relationship, the levels of trust that you give are a little bit different. Like, I wouldn't necessarily trust the man that I met yesterday that he's gonna, do whatever. But so there's like levels to that. But typically I'm just gonna like trust you and give you the benefit of the doubt until you start giving me a reason to question that.
If you at home love it just as much as I do, thumbs up, subscribe, bang that bell so you don't miss any content. This is what I talk about when I'm saying I love the diversity of people, of perspectives, of experiences, because everyone has different walks of life and everyone has been through different things. So with that being said, we are going to go to the next segment. What's the meme mean? Because we can all get the same message and get something totally different out of it. So what's the meme mean?
Now tell me what the meme mean.
What the meme mean? What the meme mean?
All right, and here is the meme for tonight, ladies. Don't trade your authenticity for approval. Love and accept yourself for all that you are, and then watch your life bloom. Watch your life bloom. So, ladies, let's talk about that meme. Jaleisha, what does that meme mean to you about your authenticity and walking in it and watching your life bloom? Talk to us about what that says to you.
Be your true self. Don't let nobody ever change who you are or who you want to be in life. Accept who you want to be and just love it and keep growing.
Yes, ma'am. I love that. Right. Accept who you are. That's the key, is accepting who you are. A lot of times that's the trouble in people's lives, is that we don't first accept who we are, but we want the world to accept us. Christina, tell us about what that meme means to you.
So I kind of saw it in two parts. So when I initially read the "Don't trade the authenticity for approval," I thought that was very much extrovert, whereas this idea that, because we're so, out there and extra, like that could be fake, or, how is somebody always like that and, can do that and be friends with all these people. But that very well can be true, right? And so I think it's just understanding that if you're just focused on you and not putting that energy on worrying about what someone else is doing, and just believing that, like, if you bring your authentic self, that it's going to result in approval, because most people like what's real. And so if that's what you're bringing to the table, you don't have to worry about it. Then that is going to be something that you're going to get in return. It's not something that you have to necessarily strive for. You don't have to change yourself for. Like, be authentic and be you, because we as humans, the purpose of us is to grow and get better every single day. Those things will naturally happen.
Yes, ma'am. You said it exactly how it needed to be said in regards to with extroverts and the energy that we do put out there. Sometimes people are like, goodness, that's so much, that's, oh my goodness, how can you deal with that every day? It takes special people to be able to deal with extroverts all the time. And it takes special people to be able to deal with introverts all the time. So knowing that and knowing the different personalities, be careful who you allow in your inner circle so that they don't dim your light as an extrovert and try to put you out. And so that they don't, in turn, as an introvert, that they don't see you as weird or someone that they can walk all over or push over. So it still goes back to the people that you allow in the safe space in your life. Because yes, there are many personalities out here, but it all still goes down to, are you an introvert or an extrovert? So I appreciate you ladies so much. We are about to move on to the challenge. All right, so let's move on to the challenge. If you have been watching tonight, you have seen the different perspectives of an introvert and an extrovert. So at this time, I want to give you a challenge and see if you are up for it. All of us have some introverts in our lives, and all of us have some extroverts in our lives. And I tell you this, we may not be your cup of tea, but there are some people that want several cups of us. So instead of feeling like an introvert is weird or an extrovert is extra, I ask and I challenge you to embrace those introverts and extroverts in your life. Understand that they are perfectly themselves. And instead of wanting them to become who you want them to become, embrace them for their authenticity of who they are. Because honestly, while we are trying to change them, no one's trying to change us. So allow them to be who they are in their best form as they allow you to be who you are in your best form. So are you up for the challenge? Yes? Or are you not ready yet? And if you're not ready yet, that's okay. Key word is yet. You still have time. Meditate on it and see what this can do for your life if you allow people to be who they are in their personality type. At this time, we are going to allow the ladies to come back on and give you their final pours. They will pour out to you just some final words of what they want to share with you, pouring from themselves into you so that your cup does not run empty. Jaleisha, final words.
Final words, I guess, for the introverts. Just continue to be you. Whatever these other people feel about you, don't worry about it. Love who you are, accept who you are. If you accept them for who they are. In the future, they'll realize who you are and love you for you, and always love you, no matter what.
Christina, what are your final pours?
Honestly, I think that the biggest takeaway for me, and just an introspective moment, is that I think that for a long time I felt or haven't so much connected with many introverts because the personalities are so different. And so I think that just from this conversation and just learning, and what I would leave at least extroverts with are, don't don't take the guy out the running that, kind of sits and plays the back, right? Because I think that as much as we're different, a lot of what you heard with Jaleisha and I are probably very similar in the way that we experience real, true connection. And so I think that realizing that we all want kind of the same thing. We want to connect, we want to make an impact, we want to create that legacy, we want to build that relationship. I think we just need to understand that we go about that different ways. But that doesn't mean that it can't work if we kind of figure out how to make that work together.
Well, there you have it, people. There you have it. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight on episode 3 of Cups and Conversations, and understanding your personality type and helping the world to understand that we are all different, but we can coexist in this world together and ask each other, how can I support you? Until next time with Cups and Conversations, this is Dara, and I'll talk to you soon.